Hey guys, this is Tatiana from Fresh Green Tea, and today's video is inspired by this ongoing joke with my boss who always asks me about my weekend. I'm like, my weekends are always great. I'm always doing stuff. She's always like, how do you find out where this, like, how do you find out what's going on? And people ask me that all the time, like, how did you know about that? You just moved here. I'm not even as involved. Where do you get this information? If you are intentional about finding activities, or you just like want to do stuff, then you can find it. I just want to help you. I want to kind of drop some pointers as to like how you can find things to do in your area and really get involved in doing things. Yelp. This blog is about food. I like to eat, you like to eat, everyone likes to eat. Yelp some restaurants that are in your area. For me, I am not vegan. I'm actually vegetarian recently, but I love to go to vegan restaurants because to me it's like really cool to see how people can create these dishes out of pure vegetables and no dairy, no meat. And I'm like, cool, let me see what kind of healthy ass food I can find in my neighborhood. Also, I'll look up live music or restaurants that have a waterfront view or something like that. Or if I'm really in the mood to be fancy, I'll look up a rooftop bar. Yelp, download it, get it. Usually if you're going to a restaurant that does happy hour or live music and stuff, then those are usually also the type of bars that hold like trivia nights, bingo nights, open mics, whatever. So find some cool restaurants or bars in your area, and that can kind of get you connected with food, really. Another one is just looking up your Maps app. You can go to Google Apps, you can pull up your map on your phone, and just like, I love, especially when I'm planning trips, like I zoom in to what like stores are nearby, what parks are nearby. I just like to know my surroundings, like when I go to other cities, I feel like by the time I get there, I know exactly where I am. I'm like, oh, the local CVS is over here. Oh yeah, the Bank of America is up there. Oh yeah, there's the National Park down the street, 3.2 miles down the street. And my friends are like, what? I didn't know that. And I'm like, oh, that's because I always want to know what's going on. Go be a tourist in your city or nearby city. Let's say you find a park or you find a really cool museum. Just put in the directions and click transportation and see if there's free transportation or cheap transportation. And I tell you, like, I love taking public transportation in new cities. Number one, it's cheaper than Uber and rentals. But number two, because you meet people, like you sit on the bus next to somebody. I was in Portland with my friend and I'm sitting next to this lady, and she was like kind of grouchy. She's the one who corrected me when I said Oregon, and it was Oregon. And I'm like, hey, do you know where there's a cool vintage shop around here? And she gave me like 3 awesome places, and I ended up loving them. So like, take public transportation and you can navigate from there. You can find a cool park. Like if you look on your apps and you see the parks, and you can kind of see if it's near a body of water, and that might potentially be a really nice view to go for a walk or hike or something. Don't underestimate Google Maps. And flyers on the streets and coffee shops. I went to the juice place the other day, and they have like all these bulletins and all these flyers and all these things, and everyone's just sitting like waiting for their acai bowl, just like looking on their phone, looking on their watch in a rush. And I'm over here like, what kind of activities are there to do? Like, oh cool, there's free yoga. Oh look, there's this fitness class next week. Oh, Tuesday night meditation with John from down the street. Find stuff people put that stuff out there because they want to connect. These are people that are like, hey, join me in this cool thing, or hey, there's this event, go to it. And that kind of segues into local magazines and newspapers. Like in Baltimore, they have these like weekender magazines at all these little corners, and one day I just like picked one up and read it, and they keep it really up to date. Like it was this week's activities. They were talking about like just cool stuff that's going on, like art festivals or I don't know, art exhibits that are happening. So pick up the paper, look at it. Again, this stuff isn't always gonna just like pop out to you or be on a bulletin board. You kind of have to like look for it. Look up your city website. Look up your city calendar. Again, all I can speak about is Baltimore because that's where I live. But even when I was in Florida, if you're near any major city, or even if you just have an active city, which hopefully you do, check out what activities your city's putting on. Parks and Rec. My Parks and Rec out here, they do $5 5Ks every single month. They do this Flicks on the Hill where they project this movie on the side of a museum, like walking distance from my house. You just sit on the hill, have a picnic, and watch a free movie every Thursday. And right before that, there's this fitness group that works out together, and they rotate like the different activities that they do every Thursday. So, again, your city will post when there's festivals that they're hosting. Farmers markets. Oh my gosh, that's how I found out about farmers markets when I moved here. That's really how you find out about most farmers markets, because it's collaborated with the city by local farmers. You know, farmers come out, they sell their food to you for cheap. It's great stuff. It's better for you than the grocery store. It's just like a fun day. When I was at the farmers market, I ran into this booth, and it was like this vegan, it's called Baltimore Thrives, and it's this vegan organization, and they were just promoting that they were doing this 4-week vegan cooking class. Like, if you're interested, we're going to teach you about how to be vegan or how to transition. And I like to be skilled in the kitchen, so I'm like, okay, how the hell do you make cashew nacho cheese? Like, I'll go take the free class. Cool. So which that's part of it. Like, you have to be open-minded. Like, don't be scared to show up to something you don't really know what to expect, but learn something. That's life. So I go to this vegan class, and come to find out, like, this Baltimore Thrives vegan organization collaborates with all these other awesome, like, nonprofits that do cool things in the city, and they just want to, like, educate the area on healthy living, sustainable living. And oh my god, it was like the floodgates open to everything I'm interested in, all the like-minded people. I also ran into a guy at one of these events that it's called Food Not Bombs, where he works and partners with local grocers and grocery stores, grocers, and farmers. And takes their, like, unwanted produce, like imperfect food that, like, they don't want to put on their shelf, or that the chefs don't want to cook with, or whatever, and they make, like, gluten-free, vegan, vegetarian dishes, plates it up and goes out to these food deserts, as they call them, in the inner city, and serves food to people. Are you serious? I literally found myself out volunteering doing that. And so next thing you know, like, my calendar's booked. I'm always doing stuff. It's always learning about how to cook, how to find food, how to help, how to teach, and meeting cool people. And, like, once you get involved in, like, this network, it blows your mind how you can just connect to this community once you kind of get involved in initiatives that you're interested in. And that can be applied to anything. I'm sorry, let me backtrack out of that whole snowball. So look up your city website. Ask around. I mean, it kind of goes back to what I'm saying. Don't be ashamed of asking for recommendations. Like, literally, I went to this bar one time. The bouncer was really cool. His name is Clinton. And, like, I went there twice, and I saw him both times. And I'm like, Clinton, what do you do besides, like, being a security guard? And he's like, oh, I'm a personal trainer. I'm like, oh my god, I need to get in shape. That would be cool. He's like, here's my card. Call me if you need me. Literally, I called him, and he had great prices. He's awesome. He's my trainer right now. Talk to people. Take word of mouth. People have recommendations. Go for it. Try it. I was chatting up with this one bartender one day when I was, like, doing random tourist stuff in DC alone, like a dork. I talked to the bartender, and I'm like, what kind of what are the parties at? You know, like, what do you do for fun in the nightlife? And next thing I know, like, I know where the cool jazz bar is. I know where I want to go if I want to do, like, EDM fist pumping. Where the live music spots are, like on U Street in DC. Like, I didn't know what U Street was. I didn't know that. Like, I figured it out by looking at my map, talking to people. Like, that's literally asking around, and is taking recommendations is like huge. The last recommendation I have is use meetup.com or Facebook to find your interest group. The yogis know the hipsters, that know the artists, that know the entertainers, that know the comedians. It's a community. So once you put yourself out there and just show up to these events, like, there's no reason why you can't find stuff to do all the time. It's hilarious when I go to work and my boss is like, how do you know all this stuff? And I'm like, I put myself out there. Just in summary, Yelp, Maps, Flyers, free magazines, Facebook, your city website, meetup.com, and ask for recommendations. So, good luck, find stuff to do, have fun.